This is the greatest show. I couldn't put the music on because we would be flagged and take it down by the gods of YouTube. But good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to our weekly Fridays Producers Club, Real Estate Producers Club. I have the pleasure to have Gabriel Guerrero today with us. Um, I did a promo, Gabriel, and I said, if you want to hear from a guy, right, that has a very unique team with him, behind him, that he leads, that did, kind of like somewhere in the north of 400 million in a very, very challenging year. Join us, hear from the guy. So we have uh, pretty amazing responses. Gabriel, I'm not gonna, I told you earlier, and tell your bio and what have you. I want us to hear from you. Um, First of all, how you started in real estate, and then tell us the story of like who's Gabriel Guerrero today, how you became that person.
Well, I think first of all, I want to say good morning to everybody, and especially to you, Meny, because since I've come over to be under your wing, you and I have had some great talks, and it's just a pleasure in this industry, having been in this for 22, going on 23 years now. The synergy of finding somebody who is very much on the same wavelength as you and wants to go big. I went to the gym this morning. My buddy John Russell, who works on our team, basically, and his motto is "Win or Perish." And that's kind of the mantra that our whole team takes on, basically, because it's a year now, last year, with the challenging COVID stuff and everything like that. And you and I talking about the big aspirations we had for our team. It's not just me, it's my entire team, and I'll talk about them in a second. But we just worked really hard through that, and it's really launched us into this year. And this year our team is just on fire right now, fired up, coming out of a conference we just came from. And so, we don't pay attention to the economic news around us. We create our own economic news. And that's where I've really enjoyed being under your leadership, Meny. And it's a compliment to you and your team and everything. And I'm looking forward to playing football with you guys at SoFi Stadium next week, right? So it'll give us a chance to connect there too. But, I don't become me without a lot of people around me. And so, that's kind of like the beginning of the story. So, is there anything you want me to start with, or just kind of start rolling? Or
Go. It's the stage is yours.
well, and again, I don't want this to monopolize, but I have a team. It's called the Institutional Asset Advisors, and I think it's very unique. Doesn't exist in KW anywhere else. And the best thing for everybody on this call is we're based out of Southern California. I tell people that when I first started in the business, I used to have to walk up and down the street, taking pictures with my Nikon camera, scanning the picture, uploading it in the system and stuff. And we all know that stuff isn't necessary anymore. So fast forward now to today. And, basically this vision started back when I first joined KW about 4 or 5 years ago. And into the door walked a guy named Justin Chu. He was looking for a mentor, and he had come from the residential side. For all your residential people on the call right now, he had come. Justin can tell you his own story in terms of like success or not success that he had in the past. But Justin and I clicked like right away, because Justin was mentorable. He was eager. He was hungry. He wanted to learn. And basically he came in, and we recognized, when we got the top award last year for KW, and I turned and they said, what's the partnership between you and Justin like? I said, it was love at first sight. So, we just kind of clicked, and that led to the beginning of me going like, okay, I want to build a team again, because I had done it in a previous brokerage, and I started to build out from Justin. And now, we've got, one big thing for me, Meny, is commercial real estate is dominated by men. I hate to say it, but it's true. In commercial real estate, there's like 95% men. I can't explain it. It's not up to me. It's just you find more men in commercial real estate than residential. But I'm a huge proponent of females in the team. So we brought on Christine Tong from our team, and Christine has just been incredible. At the conference last week, I had the pleasure of seeing Christine as a woman in commercial real estate stake her claim and just grow before our eyes. And so, you got Justin and Christine as the anchor. Coming out of that, then comes a girl, Olivia, who came from residential. She's about to make about $60,000-$70,000 in her first deal with me. And, it's obviously the biggest deal she'll do in her career right now, first of many. And the thing is that, it's just one of those things where, to me, Out of that came a whole bunch of other people that I'll mention. But the point is that this team that we've assembled is a team that now can do national business. We're doing deals in Texas, Florida, Georgia. We have a listing in Georgia for $175 million. It's go big or go home, Meny. And that's really what we're doing right now. And my message to all the residential people out there right now is that, when you first come in the business and you think I know the housing market's different. I don't pretend to know the housing market, right? I don't do that. I do commercial real estate. I listen, I read about a little bit about it type of thing, but I've never sold a house in my life. So residential people can come in and if they're willing to be mentored, if you do one commercial deal in your life, a year, it's going to double your income probably or something like that. The way that we work, Justin came in, he knew some Chinese people. These people had an uncle who had a shopping center. They had a rent roll and operating statement. They were just sending it everywhere saying, hey, bring an offer. My uncle wants, 9 million, and they couldn't sell it for like a year. We came in, Justin and I, sat down with them. We said, listen, just trust us. Get your uncle to give us the listing. And when that deal closed, they made almost $90,000 in that check. And it's a lesson that the idea is you have to have a long-term vision in this business, not just a, now, me. I'm old enough to remember Daffy Duck cartoons. And there's one favorite cartoon I had is him jumping up and down going like, mine. I feel like people just treat these deals like it's mine. Whereas, if you bring some people in, you're going to learn along the way on that deal, and to make $90,000. And they didn't do anything. I'll tell you that much. They gave me the rent roll and the operating statement. And then we put it together. We marketed it. We sold it. And we were happy to pay them the $90,000. And that touched off a lot of things that Justin and I have done together that have been very successful.
Yeah, it's awesome opening, Gabriel. Thank you for sharing that and that mindset as well, and also be a resource. So talking about being resourceful, right? How did you came about positioning yourself, right, you and your team, as an asset, literally, but also as a resource to the consumer, if it's agents and of course those principles out there that and do share, by the way, if you want to share about the one of the biggest deals in the history of the city, and of course the biggest one in the history of Keller Williams International. How did you got to that place when it's saying, what, I need to be that kind of a person, and then you build yourself up and still do to be that resource?
Well, I believed that I am that person. So that it starts with belief, right? You've got to believe in yourself. But that belief became, reality of me just being a student of the game. To me, commercial real estate or real estate in general for all of us is not a 9-to-5 thing. I tell the story to my staff all the time that when I proposed to my wife, the Bellagio, everything right, she said yes. She came down the steps and I said, okay, you do realize this is not a 9-to-5 thing. If somebody wants to see me on a Saturday or Sunday, I'm gone. And she said, do we make $100,000 or $200,000? And I said, yes. She said, bye. And I knew I had the right wife, right? So it's probably part of the magic of our relationship. And so, to me, between lines, I'm reading articles every single day about my industry. I'm reading articles about what's going on, the trends, the economic news. It's all the stuff. Like I love that stuff. And so that's the passion I think that our clients pick up on, that basically I'm gonna be quite frank with you, Meny. You and I have had conversations. KW is not the first name that comes to these people's minds in commercial real estate. Keller Williams, yes. In fact, when I go after commercial deals, I have to overcome sometimes the Keller Williams aspect because Keller Williams is so great at residential, but in commercial, they're finding their way. And so that's why we, as the institutional asset advisors, we made our own way. We created our own story. And basically, when we were at this conference and there were 20,000 people, and we're buzzing like crazy. Two new girls that I hired, Kendall and Cindy, came aboard. And what I love about them is we threw them in the fire. We were in the meetings every half hour on the half hour, and they were in the lobby, working the lobby, passing out flyers, grabbing business cards and stuff like that. It's a mentality where you have to have a belief in yourself and a fearlessness to succeed. Because if you come in this business and you just cower in the corner, or you're waiting for somebody to, rescue you, it's a recipe for why people come and go out of this business. But, the mentorship and Meny, anybody who works for you, who doesn't come to you and say, Meny, let's talk, right? Let's take Meny to lunch. I'm sure you'd appreciate that. And basically, just say, hey, Meny, how do I succeed? What's the key to success, right? Because you can participate in all these trainings and things of that nature. And I've seen Keller Williams train. Sometimes I think you all train so much, I don't know how you make money. The thing to me is that, the training must be real time, and when I come in with people, they get a 3-day training from me, and then we turn them loose on the phones, they're gonna make mistakes, and you cannot be afraid to fail. So you ask me how I became who I became today. I started with a lot of failure. You know, I started with a lot of failure, and I didn't care one bit because it was just the next and the next and the next. And I was just training, Kendall and Cindy and Carol Ann the other day, and I was talking about it, saying, listen, you'll make 300 phone calls in a week and get rejected 299 times, but that 300 phone call at 5:30, 6 o'clock last night, they were in the office at 6 o'clock with me last night, still training, not going home, not wanting to go home, or maybe they did, but they didn't tell me. It didn't matter to me, they were staying. But the thing is that, at 6 o'clock on a Friday, when everybody wants to go home or something like that, someone in the office, I was in the office making those calls on a Saturday morning. My wife, when she was my girlfriend, she would come and she would just bring me a picnic lunch, basically at 12 noon on a Saturday. And I was banging phone calls to people that weren't answering during the week and would get deals on Saturdays. So you ask me who I am today. I am a culmination of all the people on my team that have helped me to get where I am. I'm a culmination of my wife, who's been nothing but supportive. I'm a culmination of my father and my mother, who my dad's 94. My mom, as you know, passed away two years ago. I believe in heaven. She is just helping me, and rooting for me, and telling Jesus, give my son a break, right? And so it's all of this. And I hope anybody who's listening understands the story behind it all. We are not who we are simply because of who we are. We are because we surround ourselves with great people, like-minded people, synergistic people, and that has made all the difference in my career.
I love it, Gabriel. Thank you. It's people can definitely sense your passion, right? Which is sincere and it's authentic, and I think it attracts people like you mentioned, like-minded. And if you're a KW commercial in our sister offices, you're gonna get the chance to hang out with Gabriel and his team and meet all of those amazing guys and girls this coming week at SoFi. We have something special going on. Let me ask you another question. With that kind of passion, dedication, mindset, also comes self-discipline. How do you maintain that self-discipline? I know that it also applies to Justin for sure, by his physique and probably the other people on the team, but do share.
GQ Justin.
Yes.
Yeah, the discipline's a great thing, Meny, that you mentioned, because lots of people lose themselves in not being disciplined. We all have to admit what our strengths are. And I tell my staff all the time, listen, we're going to play to your strengths, but I also need to know your weaknesses, because then you must work on your weaknesses until they're no longer weaknesses. And the combination of that is what makes you great. So when I first got into commercial real estate, I had come from network marketing. If anybody knows what that is, multi-level marketing. It was pretty big in the 80s and 90s, and it wasn't Amway. It was a company called Excel Communications, and they were a telecom company. It was right when the internet was starting to boom. I met so many marvelous people in there that are still good friends of mine, because the one thing about network marketing, people used to say, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, blah, 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 whatever. The thing to me is that meeting people in there in the top, I went straight for the top 10. And I said, how did you get to where you are? How do I get to where you are? Give me secrets like that. I remember in Dallas, Texas in 1995, they had this thing, and I had gotten to the top 30. And basically this guy who was number one was in the lobby of this Dallas hotel, kind of family, what do you guys call it? Family reunion or something like that, right? Yeah. And this top incrementer guy's in the lobby at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was there with him from like 11 till 3 in the morning. And, people start dropping off, a big crowd starts, and then it starts to get people getting tired. They start disappearing. And by 3 o'clock in the morning, it's me and one other guy sitting with him. I learned more between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. that day in Dallas, Texas, than at any time in the entire business, because he just bore his soul to me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I appreciated it, because that's what launched me into what, where it was. But, you look back at the network marketing or anybody's experiences before you came into KW, those experiences are stepping stones to get you where you want to be. I did not realize that my skill sets that I was developing in network marketing really gave me an advantage coming into real estate, because rejection meant nothing to me, Meny. It really meant nothing to me. So, getting on the phones and getting a no wasn't personal for me. It wasn't something that made me stop on the calls. Many times, when I first came in, people were on their database, they're on their computers, not making phone calls. I'm making my phone calls. And we used to be in cubicles, right? Many people start in the cubicles, right? Not everybody starts in a cushy office. And the only way to get an office was to make $250,000. So I wanted to get away from the people in the cubes because they were so negative. They were always sitting there on their computer typing away, and they were like, I'm doing. What are you guys doing? Oh, I'm building my database. Really? Okay. I'm just banging calls because it's the lifeblood of what we do. It's people contact, right? I know you guys do door knocking, right? We don't do that in commercial real estate, but the thing is that, getting out and getting in front of people, talking to people is everything. And coming from network marketing, it shed all my fears of talking to people because I'd be at a car wash and be giving my cards out to 10, 15 people going, hey, you want to make more money? You want to make more money? Want to make more money? Guess what 9 out of 10 people did when they got my card? They'd laugh at, scoff at it, throw it away in the trash, right? And then the one guy that called me, that's the one that I got. And then we just went out and made 20 people out of that type of thing. So I just encourage you all to have no fear. This is your dream. I mean, we all do this. Let's be honest, we all do this for money, right? Like nobody's coming in this to, save the manatees type of thing, right? I mean, we're doing this for money, but when you do that, then you can help a lot of people. And that's what we try to do. My wife and I try to do as a family. We teach our kids the same thing. There's a lot of big homeless population type of thing. My wife just, will go to the bank and take cash out, just keeping it with us. And then we run out of cash, and cash has just been given out to like homeless people type of thing, because we feel like, if we can feed somebody for a day or something like that, it's always giving back. And we feel that God blesses us because of that, to keep everything going. So I think the big thing about self-discipline is really to just keep on challenging yourself every day, that despite all the people that are negative and say no, that you cannot do this, focus on the people and hang out with people who say that you can do it, because it's really important to keep that motivation going.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the commitment to fulfill your destiny no matter what, right? What the noise is, and what the weather condition, what the market conditions are. And I love the fact that you said, and I'm just want to connect the dots. It's like sometimes a lot of people coming from different industries, different backgrounds, or what have you, different walks of lives, and then go into this business, residential, commercial, and they get stuck because they don't understand their identity. So what I hear you saying is like, doesn't matter, just go through whatever hardship, whatever success, failures, until you're going to get there, and then find your purpose while you're in that path eventually, and then going to make that selfish success to everybody's success.
Yeah, I'm not touting this, but I wrote a book. It's coming out. It's called Rich Latino, Poor Latino, right? Because I'm trying to give back to the community. And one of the chapters talks about basically having your why. And in that book, I talk about, and I say that your why should not be you, because I believe that human nature is too easy for us. You talk about self-discipline, Meny. It's so true. So it's so easy for us to let our own selves down and then rationalize it, right? As to why we didn't fail. So many people that have worked for me in the past that it didn't work out for always left saying like, oh, well, Gabe is too tough, or Gabe, this, or Gabe, that type of thing. I'll be honest with you, Meny. There are people out there who may not like me. I'm not running for president. Like, I'm not in this for popularity, type of thing, right? This is a business that is tough enough as it is to deal with people and negativity, or people telling you cannot do things, right? But usually the reason why somebody comes in and doesn't succeed, and I would challenge anybody in this call, that it isn't because somebody did you wrong, or, it's easy for us as people to blame others. But when I have a wife and 6 children, actually, 7 children, basically, I have a grown daughter that I raised on my own, and that made me who I was today too, Meny. She lives in Georgia. She went to college in Georgia and stayed in Georgia. But I dedicated the first part of my life to her, and she made me the man I am today. So, to me, getting up out of bed, people like Tony Robbins, right? And I like Tony Robbins, but I don't listen to him a lot because I like the psychology of success more. The end of that story is the fact that when I get out of bed every day, my feet hit the ground running, because I got 6 kids that I'm supporting in my household right now. My daughter in Georgia, whom I love and support, in terms of what she's going after. And the thing to me is that, man, that's motivation already. My why is not me, Meny. My why is my wife, my children, my father, and that keeps me going every day. You couldn't stop me. So it's not popular. I'm not trying to be popular. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help those who want to be helped, right? And so if somebody has a dream and it's in line with my dream, we're going together. They can hang out with me anytime, because this is a beautiful business. It's a lucrative business. And it's just an exciting, dynamic thing to be a part of. I say enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I love that again. Thank you. Again, it's very inspiring, and I love that you really open up and be vulnerable and share that psychology and feelings and stories and everything. So um, much appreciated. What's what's the goal this year for you and the team? What are you guys after?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I going into New Year, my staff and I worked all through December. I love Christmas, right? So obviously, being a man of faith, I work till the 23rd. We take 24, 25, and 26 off, and 27th through New Year's, we're in the office on the phones, and we're doing our thing, because I don't make New Year's resolutions. John, we're in the gym this morning. On January 2nd, the gym was packed. It was full. We couldn't get like a weight to lift, right? And I think John made a comment saying, "Don't worry, Gabe, by March they'll be gone." I said, "Not John, by January 31st they'll be gone," right? And today we were in the gym and there was nobody in, right? So everything's relative, everything's relatable, right? It's kind of like, you talk about the gym and people take that lightly. But Justin has a theory that we should not hire anybody who doesn't go to the gym. Because if they're not willing to go and work hard in the morning, right, then how are they going to understand what we're after? So the answer to that question is that our goals are lofty. People, I came to KW because at the big houses, they limit you. We had been approached recently by a big group house to leave KW. And they wanted us to be limited to downtown Los Angeles, where we closed this $400 million deal. And I already have the $175 million listing in Atlanta. We're doing deals in Texas and Florida. So the idea was, why limit ourselves? So when people ask me where are we specialize in, I say North America. And people are going to go like that. Oh, wow, that's kind of funny. And then I say, the greatest thing about Earth is it's 70% water, 30% real estate. All I want to do is transact, And you mentioned KW International.
Right.
I guess maybe my goal is to do a deal in China or something like that, right? If Justin spoke Mandarin, he could help with that. But he's one of the only Chinese guys I know who doesn't speak Mandarin, right? So I'm looking for, if you're Chinese and you speak Mandarin, come apply to our team because we need you, right?
But you have to have subscription to the gym and actually show up every morning.
That's it. We actually offered the 3 girls that came and joined with us. We said, we'll pay for your gym membership. We have yet to see them in the gym, but we'll rectify that in the next few days because, we like bonding in the gym. John and I, we just motivate each other in the morning and talk about stuff. And it's all this positive. Imagine being in the gym, lifting hard, trying to be as big as you can be, as good as you can be, as fit as you can be, and talking about positive stuff, it launches you into your day. And sometimes John and I get into conversations with people in the gym, and sometimes we're talking about spirituality. Sometimes we're talking about, people's goals. Maybe somebody in the gym had a bad day, and John and I are like mentoring them or talking to them. Sometimes we have bad days, right? And we find joy in speaking to somebody who gives you a smile or talks to you or something like that, right? And so to me, I just find it to be the lifeblood of the start of our days. And people ask me today, like, what sets do you do? What days do you this and that? And I was like, I'm here 7 days a week until my body tells me stop. And then I take 1 day off and then I go back the next day. Is real estate any different, Meny? Real estate's not a 9 to 5 thing. It's not a Monday through Friday thing. And if you're not selling real estate on the weekends, then maybe like you should be reading books, attending seminars. It's all about self-improvement. It's all about drive. It's all about determination. And that's what makes life, to me, most rewarding, to do that. And I'm tough on our kids. Our kids are fantastic kids. My wife and I have great kids, but anyone who'll tell you, wow, you guys are so tough on your kids. What I mean is we have high expectations for them in the classroom, high expectations for them on the field of battle, right? My sons are basketball players. My daughters are softball players. I coach them, and I am tougher on them than any other kids on the team. And I don't play daddy ball, because I want them to earn everything. And my son, Gabriel, who's 20, he got his real estate license last year at 19, and he's working on commercial real estate deals right now while he transfers to USC. I told him, you don't have to wait, son. Like, you don't have to wait, but you got to be willing to pay the price. You got to be willing to become better, right? So it's kind of trial by fire with him, but I'm proud of him. He's actually working hard. And Meny, all my kids will get real estate licenses. My 5 and my 8-year-old talk about all the time, going like, Daddy, when do we get to close deals with you? Say, let's start now. If I could get you a license now, I would, because my 5 and 8-year-olds are closers. I'm still waiting for Gabriel to become a closer.
Yeah, well, it's in the DNA, man. So that you can't stop it from happening. And by the way, if you'll do a survey right now, if you had a parent or parents like Gabriel and his wife, myself included, is like, yes, that could have been like very interesting, different life journey for many of us. So being tough of the kids doesn't mean that it's in good or bad terms. It's how you build them to the real life experience afterwards, which is incredible, by the way. So thank you again for sharing that.
With all the news that goes on, if we all read the news every day, we'll go crazy. What's real, what's fake. I don't know. I just know I don't want to take my place. I started my own company in 2002 when I left the big houses, and I went to the Teddy Roosevelt quote about the man in the arena. The credit belongs to the man in the arena, right? Blood, sweat, tears, toil, right? Who in the very end basically, takes their place. It does not take their place with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I just don't want to be a cold and timid soul. I'd rather go out and chase the dream. And real estate, in every way, between residential and commercial, gives you that opportunity. I've met more people. I always say this in my business: I've met more educated idiots, meaning people that just think they know it all, and more uneducated millionaires, right? One of my favorite clients was a gentleman named Woody Guntharp. He died at 96. He was African American. He died worth $36 million. And his story, we bonded so much over his story about how he grew up destitute in the Great Depression, African American in the South, right? The things that man had to overcome. And there's a whole story there that to me, I don't I wouldn't say I won't bore your people, but they're probably going like, yeah, Gabe, shut up. But the thing is that Woody Guntharp is an inspiration to everybody because Woody saved $2,000 when he was a kid selling newspapers. Came to LA, bought a house, refinanced it, bought a couple of units, refinanced that, bought some more units, more units. He died with 386 apartment units worth $36 million. And he used to tell me, I remember when I didn't have two nickels to rub together, Gabe. And now I'm worth $36 million. He died at 96 knowing that he left $36 million to his family, right? And when I hear that story, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for any of us. There's just no excuse, We all overcome some hardship, And I understand people don't always have the proper, my wife did not have great parents. But she, working since 14 years old, when I met her, she wasn't the typical person, and I recognized that. I admired it, and so it's part of who she is today. You talk about DNA. Sometimes you overcome your DNA,
Exactly.
and so you create your own DNA, as far as I'm concerned, type of thing, right?
Yes.
And so I've had MBAs come and apply for the job. Well, I want $150,000 salary plus commission, blah blah blah. I've started saying that MBA stands for more bad attitude sometimes, because it's kind of like, man, we eat what we kill, right? And so I need hunters. And I tell the females on my staff, I said, people think lions are the king of the jungle. It's the lionesses who do the hunting,
That's
right?
so true.
They do the hunting. So I hope that the females on this call will see themselves, look in the mirror and say, I'm a lioness, and then go study characteristics of lionesses, because they aren't weak whatsoever, right? And you just got to go stake your claim and go hunt.
Love it. By the way, if anybody has questions for Gabriel, you can type, on the chat. Can address those for sure. Gabriel, if you had to start all over again, going backwards, one thing you would do different and one thing you would do more of?
It's a great question, Meny. I was very fortunate that I had a mentor when I went back to USC in 2002 to strengthen my weaknesses. I went back in 2002 to learn about development and to become an expert at real estate finance, right? Because I knew I could talk to people. I needed the financial wizardry to deal with cap rates and ROIs and DCRs and all those wonderful things that we all love so much in real estate, right? But we have to deal with it. So when I went back, I was fortunate. I walked into this room, and there was a mixer at SC, and I go back to SC, and basically I'm talking to everybody, like I just love talking to people. And this old gentleman calls me over and says, "Who are you?" And I explained who I was, and he says to me, I want you to come see me in Century City. His name was Stan Ross. Stan Ross walks in the room and tells me, he says, Gabe, and this guy's an icon. He says, there's only one guy I've met in my life who can walk in a room and own it like you. He said, it's Donald Trump. And I laughed and said, Mr. Ross, I'm about $1 billion short of his bank account. I said, but thank you for the compliment, right? And I don't care if people like Trump or not. At the time, the funny part is before he became president, everybody wanted to be Donald Trump, and so I admired the compliment. And so I think that going back, the answer to that question is that if I could go back to college, I would have majored in entrepreneurial, uh, entrepreneurship, because I didn't know how to start a business. I didn't know how to work for myself, right? Everything I learned in the 80s was going to corporate America. And it took me 3 years to realize, like, I don't want any part of corporate America, because, most people were chain smoking, chain drinking, chain partying, divorcees, whatever type of thing. And I just realized if I stay in this life, I'm going to be working, for somebody else all the time. So I think the thing I do different is be more entrepreneurial early. And that's where network marketing really changed my life. Having a daughter changed my life, and it made me the man that I am, right? So I got motivated and learned entrepreneurial skills, learned sales skills, right? And there's an old success guru named Jim Rohn, Rohn. You should look him up on YouTube, all of you, and look at videos of Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn has this thing where he says, "Don't wish for don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills," right? And so having more skill sets is a value. You asked me early on, what do we do for our clients? I offer them a skill set that most brokers cannot have. I know development, the way we got that big deal downtown Los Angeles, the big houses, all these sexy names, all these guys with suites at the conference that we went to, whining and dining and drinking with the buddies, right? And all that stuff like that. We didn't have a suite there, which you and I are going to talk about for next time, right?
Yes.
But the thing is that, they all basically could not produce a higher offer than 360 on the assets I'm talking about. And we closed at 400. So now what are we doing when we talk to people across the country? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are them right there in the
Right over
background.
here, downtown LA.
And we're
Behind you.
after 7, 8, 9, 10 as well. So, they're going to rename that section right there, Gabe and Justin. But the thing is that, and our politics would be better too. But the thing is that, we basically right now are in the midst of just trying to take all this California money and spread it across the country, because people are tired of what's going on. All the renters not paying and things of that nature. And God bless them. We can all understand both sides of the story, right? But the thing is that, with what's gone on the past 3 years, the value we're bringing is, okay, you want to get out of California, we're going to some of these states. And, I can't tell you enough how many people say they want to be in red states, right? Whatever, that's where they invest their money. That's their money. They get to do whatever they want with it. We just seek to facilitate. And the value that we bring is that we aren't limited to downtown Los Angeles. We can do deals all over the country.
One question from Ray on the chat. Ray, hey, Ray. He says, it's really an inspiration. What type of pre-screening info would you want from a referral agent so they're not going to waste your time? I guess
Well, first of all, that's another thing too. You would never waste my time. Like, I appreciate any of you that would call me or reach out to us for us to try to do a deal together. So no, it's like being in school and they tell, what the teachers all say, no question is a stupid question, right? So just understand that, a phone call from you, a text from you, an email from you, inquiry, something like that is never a waste of our time whatsoever. We are going to do our very best to help you to basically take that lead and make it into a deal, right? Because, we are not in the business of collecting leads. We're in the business of transacting. So we want to get from lead to transaction as quickly as possible to see if they're a viable and real seller, right? So, I think that basically just reaching out and having a call, lots of people, I know that, for example, Ray had talked about, another Ray had talked about saying, hey, let's meet type of thing, right? Most of us are always busy type of thing. We don't always need to meet. And the beauty of it is we got Zoom right here, right? Just set up a quick Zoom call basically. And in 15 minutes, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about and see if there's something there. And, I like being able to have somebody trust us, and we'll sign anything you want. Like, right. Most people are worried about protecting their lead, rightfully so, because, I have a saying that if you haven't been screwed over in commercial real estate, you're not in commercial real estate. Right. So, lots of people will not honor their word, but, we just do a quick little confidentiality to protect them so they understand and know it's not me versus you. It's me with you trying to get deals done. And best if we get this done up front, right? We close that deal, you get X, we get Y, everybody's happy. Let's celebrate. And let's go to the next one, basically, right? Because, you're only as good in this business as your last deal, right? But there is no time to sell like when you've sold. So, you know, when we closed that $400 million deal, we were like, whoosh, like nobody can stop us now. I want to tell you a quick story. I think you guys will enjoy this. Erica from my office, who could have gone to law school and chose not to go to law school, choose to go into commercial real estate, right? She came in this business, and Erica is probably in my office. She knows this, the least aggressive on the phones, right? She's coming out of her shell. She was talking to a guy, and it was funny because she says, I'm calling from KW Commercial, and the guy was real rude to her, and he says to her, "Oh, you're from KW. You're not even a platinum broker." So she comes to me and she says, "Gabe, this guy I was talking to today was kind of rude to me." And he says, "You guys are KW, you're not platinum brokers." And I said to her, "What's a platinum broker? I don't even know what that is." So Justin looked it up, and he said that on Crexy, some platform we don't even use, they name platinum brokers. So I said, "Okay, Erica, let's call him back." So we called the guy back, and we said, the first thing I said to him was, "Hey, nice to meet you." Erica introduces me, and I said, "Hey, sir," I laughed about it. I said, first thing I want to address with you is that you talked to Erica a little while ago, and you asked for her about being a platinum broker. I don't know what that is, but I can assure you that when I walked into the seller's office of the $400 million deal, he didn't ask me for a platinum card. He asked me if I had a $400 million buyer, and I said yes. That's my platinum card. And that's how the meeting began, right? So, the people out there that get intimidated by all that stuff and everything, I think it's funny. We walked into that conference with a platinum, I don't know what's higher than platinum, because the $400 million is pretty big, right? I got my plutonium card, right? I'm ready for nukes type of thing, right? We're enriching, what do you use for nuclear weapons? Uranium, whatever. We're enriching uranium here at KW, and, under Meny. You and I are enriching uranium, Meny. So I'm not concerned about the platinum side things. We're going nukes. We're going nuclear.
Hey, Kim, make a note to change the plaques for Gabriel's team to say plutonium levels.
Thank you. I don't even know how to make them, right? But that shows you don't have to be intelligent to do commercial real estate. I don't even know how to enrich, whatever they're doing, man. I just want to go nuclear.
Hey, you said it well earlier. It's all about the hustle, right? And you spoke in different terms. We call it the miracle morning, right? Like it's you set your mind up. The earlier the better, because you have the time to prime, to get ready for the day, to win the day every single day, right? That hunger. And I did put on the chat, by the way, for everybody, Gabriel's website, so you can see what those guys are up to. Institutional asset advisors. So you can know also how to reach out, email them, what have you. So if you have anything you want to get their advice or potential deals, those guys will help you to close everything and anything. Gabriel, last few words just to kind of close the session that you want to share.
I'm not the most tech savvy, so all these things you're talking about, if the people have questions and everything or want to reach out, what Just Christina really good at. So the thing to me is, if I missed anything, I apologize, but happy to talk to anybody. I really think we're a little, Meny, my goals may be different than KW overall. We're building a platform that, in my opinion, doesn't really exist right now, the company. And so we value the company because basically, there are things that KW, reasons why we're at KW. But the thing is that, my last words of encouragement would be, likely to be that, you said it right, like winning every day really matters. To me, surrounding yourself around people. Harvard did a business study, and they said that if you surround yourself with you kind of take a poll of your 10 best friends, and you look at it, and odds are your income will equal to the median income of the group, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew early on that I had to add different people than the guys I went to high school with, or my usual kind of circle, my family, certain people than my family, So basically that 10 people that the people I added, like the top income earners from that previous company I told you about, just successful minded people. When I went back to SC and started talking to board members, Justin and I are building a development in the Inland Empire. And, when I made a call the other day when I got back from that conference to an old board member who's built a bunch of buildings in downtown Los Angeles, and he's retired and basically now doing like GC services. And so I met with him yesterday, and he loves the project and he's looking to get involved with it as our GC. It's exactly what we needed to get to the construction financing portion of it. And so, the networking and adding people like that to my circle pays off down the line. It's tough because sometimes you leave some people behind that you love or that you care about, but you're really just trying to get to where you want to be. And of course, I don't mean being behind for good, but in the think tank of where we're trying to go, and what we're trying to accomplish. I'm going to be honest with everybody on this call. We tend to be number one KW commercial team, period, in the entire company every year for the rest of our careers, as long as we're at KW, basically. So, I will lead that by example for my staff. My staff will emulate, and keep on going with it. I'm sure it's what we're all attracted to each other for. We don't hire quickly, we hire slowly, because we have to make sure that the dynamic amongst ourselves is so positive that none of us ever have conflict. It's never easy, right? When you have 10 people in a room and, a guy like me that's talking like a dude type thing, right? But, it's like in coaching, you say, worry about it when I don't yell at you. Worry about when I'm not talking to you, because it means I don't care. So anybody who calls or anybody, mentorship or things of that nature, we're just gonna be very open and honest, and we'll learn from each other, because at 57, I'm constantly striving for the next level, and constantly trying to get better every day. And that's at 57, 22 years, going on 23 years in this business, trying to always be a bigger, better, stronger, faster businessman, in an industry that is ever changing, right? It's changed in all of us, right? In the past year, tell me that rug has not been pulled under the residential market, right? Everybody was just sailing along, a bunch of residential agents that didn't want to be part of what we were doing. And we're like, oh, I'm selling my houses, blah, blah, blah. And now, things are a little bit different, right? So adding skill sets, there's nothing wrong with that. And so my last bit of advice is to constantly get better every day, research, and become of value to your clients. Because if you want getting better, your competition is, and when they choose the broker to do that deal, there's a winner and there's a loser. And the second place person doesn't get that commission, the first place person does, right? So I'm sorry to tell everybody, it's a competition and we have to compete, and we bring value to our clients each and every day.
I couldn't close this session any better. And proudly I would say that we're here to support you, Gabriel, and the team. So thank you. That was one of the best sessions we ever had, and I'm looking forward to see you, the Lioness and the Lions, on the field. So coming next week. So
yeah,
Gabriel,
well, everybody on this call, we get a chance next week in SoFi Stadium to relive our glory days. So I'm gonna be outside practicing with my son. Let's bring a football, let's play some catch, male and female type of thing. And when you get on SoFi's turf, right? Rams made the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
When we get to just live that Super Bowl dream of the dream as a kid, don't sacrifice your dreams, don't lose your dreams. I look forward to being with you guys on SoFi, and kind of, even if our dreams are somewhat in our mind type of thing, it's all the same thing. We're just aiming for higher ground.
Yep. Gabriel Guerrero, thank you so much for your time and for inspiring all of us. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, man, always, for everything.